All right, let's get into the next discussion now. It's going to be bad business for criminal elements in the South and Southwest region. But let's say thanks for joining us. And we are going into the next discussion now, where Operation Crocodile Smile 2 is being launched today. And joining us in the studio, we have Tony Ofoyeton. He is the Director General of the International Institute of Professional Security. He is in the studio right now. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Right.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, Operation Exercise Crocodile Smile 2 has been launched today. And one says that with the Army being trained to handle internal security here and there to quell any kind of uprising and ensuring that there is peace, that it is totally out of place originally when it comes to the ideals, because that's supposed to be the role of the police.
Of course, I agree with you 100%, and that has been my position. That still remains my position, and that will always remain my position. The military are not trained to even relate with civilians with the type of cordiality that an average policeman. The height of police brutality is just the introductory part of army or military brutality. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So that simply means that no matter how civil you think that the military will be, their good morning is different from the police good morning. And when it comes to internal security, constitutional-wise, it is the primary responsibility of the police to do that. Now, when the military is beginning to take over the responsibility of the police, it's as good as asking the police to become Boy Scout. That's just the implication. Because as it is now, you ask a simple question. What is the role of the police in internal security? Because if it's not the army, it is the SSS or EFCC. In most cases, you hardly hear police, except the police want to talk of individual one-on-one relationship. Somebody is going to take money from somebody, and the next thing is going to call the police on civil matter, debt recovery and all those things that are not the primary responsibility of the police. And that's where you see somebody stopping on the road to ask you, where's your grandmother's certificate with respect to the vehicle you are driving, and all those stuff like that. I think there's high level of misplacement. I'm not so excited when the military will come and say that we are going to deal with militancy, armed robbery, kidnapping. What's your role? You don't have such constitutional role at all. There are exceptional circumstances where maybe you have joint task force, and it is joint. It's not sole operation. No, and such cases are where either because of manpower or because the adversary is having a higher fire force, then you not invite the military to come and be a backup.
Now, back to the point you just made now, because that is what the army is saying, that they're carrying out Operation Crocodile Smile 2 because of the prevalence of insecurity all across the country, especially in the Niger Delta region. You have kidnappings, armed robbery, oil vandalism, and gas installations, vandalism and all of that. And of course, according to the military, they're doing this in conjunction with the Federal Road Safety Corps. Of course, the police will be joining them in on this, and so many others. Are these reasons not really strong enough to have the military step in? They are not strong enough.
There's nothing prevalent you have in the Niger Delta you don't have in other parts of the country. If you are talking of Operation Crocodile Smile 2, which operation have you carried out in Benue State?
Where the headsmen
have their headquarters, so to say. I mean, let's just be realistic. As far as I'm concerned, it is just an operation to intimidate the people within that region. Because look, you and I, even as you are sitting in this studio now, the mere sight of 3 soldiers at your back, they are here maybe just to ask questions officially. The mere sight of 3 uniformed military men, you may be disbalanced.
Absolutely.
And it is expected anyway, because that is what they are trained to do. And so you don't begin to talk about Now the issue is, what is the major security challenge in this region that has moved the security level from level 1 to level 2 or to level 3? Because when you talk of security challenge, security threats, there are different levels. It is at the height of the last level that the military come in. At the preliminary first level, which is the normal security challenge, which every other country in the world are faced with, you don't have military in it. The second level is just like maybe saying that, okay, police be at the maximum alert. At the last level, you can now say, please come and help us and all those stuff like that. The question is, the security threat in the Niger Delta region, is it at the level, is it at the last level that the military will have the impetus and the legality to say, okay, we are coming? And don't forget that this is military operation. Yeah. It is not police inviting them to say, come and help us. So the idea that civil defense are part of it, road safety are part of it, and all those things, they are just basically for the purpose of, playing to the gallery. The main thing is that it was your idea. It's not the police idea. It's not the police operation. The police didn't invite you. Even if you brought in police, you are bringing in the police basically because you'd want people like us, when we advance such argument, to have areas where you can puncture such argument, which to me is a lazy man's approach towards internal security.
All right. Now, if in this case, from your analysis now, it seems like the police is not really in the picture. The police is not really handling the issues of security well, so the military is now taking over. But in this case, Nigerians, all they want is peace. They want tranquility, they want orderliness in their society. So, if the police has not handled it, should we not allow the military to do their job?
Peace. Okay. It depends on your definition of peace. Because if you have, on daily basis, the sight of military personnel and every nook and cranny of your state or your environment, whether you like it or not, it will inhibit your movement. Consciously or unconsciously. It has its own adverse effect even on the economy. That's just the truth. You see people just running, and at times you also see people that out of jittery, out of fear, would say what they ought not to say, or move the way they ought not to, just out of fear.
Of course, you have some stakeholders in the Niger Delta, for example, who are saying, like Pandef and the rest of them, who are saying this operation, Crocodile Smile 2, might be a setback for whatever gains that have been achieved in the last, few months, especially when it comes to the oil output. Of course, Ibe Kachuku has been able to have this interface with the Niger Deltans, and there's some level of peace. How do you think this will affect?
It will, because, when I said something, I said that idea is to intimidate the people within that region and to also justify Operation Python Dance. I hope you understand that, because the idea is, some of us have criticized and have gone against the idea of Operation Python Dance,
which was in the southeast.
Yes, which was in southeast, and immediately the military came to say it's not going to be only in southeast. It's going to be also in the southern region and this and that. And to justify that, you now have Operation Crocodile Smile 2. I think Nigerians are intelligent enough to understand some handwriting on the wall. It's absolutely uncalled for.
Is there a link? Is there a link between?
There is no major security threat.
Is there a link between the seeming militarization, and I use seeming advisedly, militarization of the country, with the fact that the president of this country has a military background?
Well,
yes,
yes, it does. It does. But having said so too, I think that incumbent president have found solace in the use of military, understanding very well that people tend to fear the military more than the police.
You get more results from it.
You get more results, which is anti-democracy. It's absolutely out of democratic tenets to begin to militarize a. You are talking of a 36-state country with about 30 countries that you have, military presence, as an actual military presence.
30 states.
And 30 states. And we're not under a military administration. Why? Because many a times you see that the government, when they want to get something out of you forcefully, what do? You bring in the soldier, which is different from the major reason why you created the mobile police. It's absolutely out of democratic tenets to begin to militarize a. You are talking of a 36-state country with about 30 countries that you have, you know, military presence, as an actual military presence.
30 states.
30 states. And we're not under a military administration. Why? Because many a times you see that the government, when they want to get something out of you forcefully, what do? You bring in the soldier, which is different from the major reason why you created the mobile police. The mobile police was created basically for purposes like this, not the army. I hope you understand. Now, it's understandable if the army is fighting Boko Haram. Why? Or fighting herdsmen. Because even the ministers and some government functionaries have come to say that the herdsmen are no Nigerians. So it's understandable if you are fighting them. Boko Haram is understandable if you are fighting them because they are a mixture of Nigerians and non-Nigerians, and it has to do with territorial integrity.
All right. So let's put you on hold.
Yep. we will come back to this certainly. Let's put you on hold and come back.
Right, we'll continue with our discussion with Tony Ofoyeton, security expert, looking at Operation Crocodile Smile 2. Yes,
you know, there's so many operations now.
So many operations, yes.
Operation Crocodile Smile, Operation Lafia Dole, Operation Egweke.
Okay.
Python, exactly. It's just the English name or the botanical name and the...
All right. Well, the Nigerian military has been trying to explain this away, saying that the exercise is actually intended to train troops in operational logistics and civil military cooperation to sharpen troops' combat readiness and all of that. And of course, their civil engagement with the populace. Is it a hard sell for you?
No, you know why I'm laughing is because you just imagine somebody want to come and have dinner with you, and he's coming with cutlass and knives and guns and the like. No, I don't think it's work like that. And when you talk about training and all those stuff, military training are done in the bush. They are done in Sambisa forest and the like. Not within the... And when you talk about...
But they talk about amphibious training, where it has to do with riverine areas.
Anyway, you know, like I said, there will always be justification. There's nothing wrong in some of these things. If we don't have antecedents that tend to question the operation. Now, why there would always be this skepticism is because of antecedents.
Yes.
Now, and also because of the paradox and some of the contradictions from military. Because some of the slogans are even contradictory on itself. Because when you talk of Operation Crocodile Smile, and you talk about Operation Dole, and you look at the two environments, now the Northeast, for example, extremely volatile, most dangerous in the country. Then you are talking of Operation what? Operation Peace. That's the meaning of Dole.
That is peace assured.
There must be peace.
You know, then you are not talking of a place where there's relative peace compared to this side. Then you are talking of Operation Python Dance, and you are talking of Operation Crocodile Smile. And it means that do you want to introduce, you understand, the peace that has been there, you want to destroy it or what? Because, like I said, no matter what anybody argument will, profound here, the presence of the military should be least seen in any democratic setting. If you go to civilized world, anywhere in the world, you may live in a country like UK, like US for 10 years without seeing one uniformed soldier, except on television, without seeing one on any street. If they have reason to leave their immediate barracks and the like, they wear the normal civilian dress. But you and I cannot walk 500 meters in this society today without citing a military officer.
All right, Tony, we're here already. And the Operation Crocodile Smile, the crocodile is certainly going to smile from today, whether, however way, it's a done deal. They're here. So what should the military be looking forward to in order to ensure that the military is not, there's no high-handedness, there's no confrontation, there is no, some of these things that you are raising concerns about?
No, it depends on the instruction that the military formation had given to those on the field. It may not necessarily depend on what we say here, but I think that for the purpose of justifying reasons, as lazy as those reasons may be, it behoves on the military formation to ensure that their boys are not more Catholic than the Pope. They are not too over-ambitious, over-zealous. They respect the civil rights of the people and of the populace. They must ensure that even those that err, before the people talk, they should be the authority to discipline their own, even before. It is when you do this type of things that the people will now say, okay, we have seen that you have done, even though constitutionally there's question, but so far so well you have done the right thing. We all want security. We all pray for security. There's nothing wrong in some of these things, you know, bringing military once in a while and all those stuff like anything that will bring peace is allowed, but that peace should not bring fear into us.
All right, we'll really have to leave it there. Of course, the military has assured of effective application of Nigerian Army Code of Conduct and strict adherence to the rules of engagement. So we'll have to leave it there. Tony Ofoyeton, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course, Tony Ofoyeton is a security expert joining us this morning on TVC Breakfast.